I'm live.
Yep.
See, when Dudley is here, it goes, and we're live. That's
I don't
okay.
have the Dudley voice.
It's all right, Liberty. You did a good job. Good job. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bear with BearIndependent.com. What is that, Bear? It's a website where you go to find out about who I am and what we do. But today we're on the YouTubes and the TikToks. So hello to everybody in the Bear Nation and all of the Asian juvenile intelligence operatives. Good to see you. We're going to do the brief today. We're talking about a potential critical rail strike and the supply chain implications of that while my murder dog runs off in the woods to go kill something. He was very excited before the brief started. He was like, come on, Dad, let's draw blood. It's like, you go do your job. I have to do my job. Bear Independent Brief 16, September 22. A crucial rail strike in the U.S. may have been averted after a tentative deal has been struck between the White House and the unions and the freight companies. Included in the deal is a 24% wage increase. By the way, I love the fact that we got the White House involved in this. A laissez-faire capitalism. Cool, good job. Included in the deal is a 24% wage increase, improved working conditions, and healthcare guarantees. Quote, this is a win for tens of thousands of rail workers and for their dignity and the dignity of their work. Okay, redundant. It's a recognition that during the early, dark, uncertain days of the pandemic, they showed up so every American could keep going, end quote. Union members will hold off any strikes until the tentative deal has been reviewed and a vote has been finalized. So, we're still in the review and finalize phase, just so we're all on the same page here. Now, to that point, I have some intel from the Dance Monkeys directly from y'all. On September the 12th, a few days ago, person number one said, my friend is an executive with CSX Railroad. He says a union strike is highly probable in the near future, but the Congress will order them back to work. The problem is, if it goes on too long, coal-fired power plants will run out of fuel. Yes, asterisk. To that point, that is critical infrastructure. It's a national defense issue. And more likely what would happen is Walmart would run out of flat screens before power plants run out of coal. Just so we're all on the same page. Is it possible? Yes. Is it the most likely course of action? No. It's the least likely course of action. Unless you're in the camp of the big they want us all to freeze to death and die, which is also possible. In which case, Klaus Schwab directly ordered to shut down all of the trains so that the good people of America would freeze to death. That's also possible. But in my experience, having built and retrofitted, refabbed several coal plants, I don't know everything there is to know about coal. I do know a thing or two. Those rail cars would probably be the last to stop. Now, if some bad actor blew up the rail lines, that's a different thing. That's not a supply chain issue, that's an infrastructure issue. Person two, on September 13th, said, I work for a rail yard for a food manufacturing plant in northwestern Arkansas. I just talked to the local train crew that I work with, and they were told this morning by BNSF that they will be locked up on Friday. They said that they will not be able to get into the station to pick anything up, even if they wanted to work. He told me this morning they are all just standing around, basically on a soft strike already. That's all I know, for now. Bum, bum, bum. Back to the brief. If the strike had actually come to pass, it would have cost about $2 billion per day, and the impact would have obviously been incredibly widespread. While keeping rail lines running is absolutely critical for the supply chain, many people have raised the question, how will this worsen consumer prices? For now, the added cost is expected to be passed down to the consumer. Yay, just what we needed. But just how large or small the impact may be is yet unknown. Still, it appears the boost was largely necessary. Negotiations between a dozen unions and rail management have been going on for 3 years to date. Cost cuts have resulted in 45,000 jobs lost in the industry in the last 6 years, and workplace demands have become punishing for the remaining employees. Clearly, the industry was headed in an unsustainable direction. Now, especially as the big they, the reptilians, the tarantulas, the overlords, the World Economic Forum, pick your poison, whoever you think the bad guys are, as they continue to push us towards the ridiculousness that is renewable green energy. Again, having worked in the energy sector, I know it's neither renewable nor green. Just like Remember the war on drugs? Do all you kids remember the war on drugs? How did that go? Not so great. Not so great. The war on whatever, it always ends up with the opposite effect, right? So whatever they name these things, it's usually the opposite. Like, for example, the Patriot Act. How did that work out? Like, not so great, right? So renewable green energy is neither renewable nor green. On a grid level, on a individual level for decentralized production of electrons for your house, wind turbines and solar make a lot of sense. But on a grid level, not so much. Ask me how I know. I used to own a company that did that. I worked for other companies that did that. That was my job. I traveled all over the Estados Unidos putting up wind turbines, solar panels, coal plants, nuclear, highline, 1,500 miles of highline. Seen a thing or two. It's not renewable. It's not green. The average service life of a wind turbine is 20 years. The average break even for carbon emissions on a wind turbine is 38 years. We're 18 years in the hole for every wind turbine we stand up. And everybody say it with me. Who are the number 1, 2, and 3 owners of green energy in the United States of America? Who owns the power infrastructure, the renewable energy? ExxonMobil, British Petroleum, and Dutch Shell are the number 1, 2, and 3 owners of renewable energy in the United States. Because they're not oil companies, they're energy companies. They diversified with your taxpayer dollars while selling you the ruse that it's clean, green, renewable energy. No, it ain't. Cement is the number 1 polluter on the face of planet Earth. Cement. The production of limestone into cement, Portland cement. 660 approximately yards, roughly 66 trucks full of concrete per turbine foundation. For every ton of copper we smelt for power lines, we release 5.4 tons of carbon. For every ton of aluminum we smelt for electrical connections, we release 10.4 tons of carbon. To say nothing of all the diesel we burn on the cranes and the excavators and the trenchers and the trucks. Dude, there ain't nothing green or renewable about it. It's just diversification in the energy sector, paid for with your taxpayer dollars. Back to the brief. Meanwhile, crime and safety is still a very real issue in major cities due to the liberal policies enacted. As an example, a DHM research survey showed that almost half of Portlanders felt unsafe walking alone at night in their own neighborhoods, and 78% of those people specifically stated that they were worried about physical assault. July statistics show that year over year, crime has increased by a bit over 300 reported crimes per month in that city, or 3,600 additional crimes per year. This is in a place where homicides alone increased 83% in 2020 compared to the national rate of 30%. Now let's just camp there just for a minute. The national homicide rate has increased 30%. Portland's up 83%, but the national homicide rate has increased 30%. I wonder what happens if you shut down the entire world, tell people that they're not essential workers and they have to stay home, so they can't feed their families. You shut down schools. You make everybody cover up their faces. You put plexiglass in between every single living human being on the face of the earth. You require them to show their papers to have access to basic things like the worship of their creator and the physicality, the moving of their body inside of the gym. And you mentally, emotionally, spiritually degrade the entire planet for a couple of years. And I don't know, causation, correlation, homicides are up 30% across the country. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I'm sure that one has nothing to do with the other at all. By the way, because this COVID thing didn't work to the rate that they wanted it to, their next thing that they're going to do, the next lockdown that you're going to see is going to be because of carbon emissions. They're going to go balls deep on this renewable energy stuff, carbon credits, social credit scores, all of that. That's going to be the next big push, I believe. And I would warn every one of you within the sound of my voice, If you didn't get good at saying no during COVID, if you're just waking up right now to the horse crap that is what they've done over the last couple, 3 years, when they start in with this next horse crap, no. Say no. But Bear, they won't allow me to. You're right. They won't allow you to nothing. It's not their job to allow you to anything. Anything. Governments derive their authority, their just authority, from the consent of the governed. The end. I do not consent. You do not get to tell me whether or not I can go to work or go to church or go to the gym or teach my kids or feed my family. You do not have the authority to tell me that. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Liberty. You don't get to tell me what I can do, when I can do it, where I can do it. As long as I'm not bothering anybody else, I'm not your problem and you're not mine. Life. You do not get to mandate that I must do this thing or must not do this thing. It's my life, my blood in my body, my breath in my lungs, my soul created eternally by the Creator. Mine, not yours, mine. And let's never forget that the people that run these institutions that we call governments are just people. They're not any smarter or stronger than you are, than I am. They derived their just powers from the consent of the governed. If it's unjust, they have no power. Stop consenting. Get good at saying no, because the next time they pull some bullshit, if people don't stand up and say no, they're just going to keep going with it. And there'll be another pandemic, and there'll be another lockdown, and there'll be another reason to shut the globe down, and there'll be another reason to limit your freedom of movement. There'll be another reason to try and get you on a digital dollar. There'll be another reason to traumatize your children. There'll be another reason to force you to do something you don't want to do. Unless you grow a pair and straighten your spine and simply say, no, I refuse to do that. I'm not doing that. And you can't make me. Back to Portland, residents report that the rampant homelessness and mental health issues are creating an incredibly dangerous environment. Move. Some reported having been yelled at and followed, and others noted that they have found dirty needles on the ground when out with their children. Strategic relocation. Come out of her, my people, lest you partake in her sins and receive of her plagues. By the way, read Genesis. Lot, Abraham's bro. Sodom and Gomorrah and 5 other cities got smoked by Yah, by the Creator. Lot was removed from the city. They didn't smoke everything around Lot and keep Lot okay. No, they got Lot out because everything was going to get destroyed. Lest you partake in her sins and receive of her plagues. A good person in a bad environment is still subject to the bad stuff in that bad environment, regardless of how good they are. So, and as our ability to freely move about the country continues to dwindle, or as they attempt to rekindle their efforts to keep you from being able to freely move about the country, as the dollar continues to degrade, how likely do you think it is that next week, next month, next year, next decade, you'll be in a position to actually move? Strategically relocate. If you're seeing stuff around you that's making the hair on the back of your neck stand up and you haven't actually done anything about it yet, what's going on? You just playing? Oh, it'll be okay, Bear. It's not that bad. All right, maybe. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm right. If you're right, cool. I'm still going to eat my sheep, play with my dogs, eat my chickens, eat their eggs, hang out with people I love. That's if I'm wrong. Excellent quality of life. If you're wrong, enjoy the breadlines. Enjoy the relocation camps, the re-education camps, the razor wire, the forced mandates. And then people will continue to scream and complain, we got to do something about this. Don't squander your opportunity to do something about it now. Just saying. There's also the issues of loose criminals to consider. The cuts to the police department have led to 100 vacancies, and remaining police have very little power left. If criminals are arrested, they're often released quickly and often not even charged. Just last month, a man bailed out of jail by the Portland Freedom Fund allegedly murdered the mother of his children within the week. And this isn't just Portland. Any city that enacts policies that file down the teeth of law enforcement creates these dangerous issues. People talk about that a lot. What happens when they let all the criminals out? They're already doing it in a lot of places. It depends on where you live. What are your laws? We have really strong laws for self-defense and trespassing in Oklahoma. Well, that's vigilante justice. Is it? You're threatening me and my wife, and that's vigilante justice? I have ways to solve those problems. We're on TikTok, so I have to be a little ambiguous with my phraseology here. But think about it. Personal responsibility, good. Cede that right back to the people. We'll handle that problem. Now, if you're in jail for a decade because you smoked some weed, I don't care about that. But if you're a violent offender, a rapist, a murderer, a pedophile, come see me. Please come see me. Yeah, we'll handle this problem. But you see, in Portland, if I handled that problem, I would be the aggressor at this point. I would be in jail when all these other people are getting out. Don't really have that problem here in Oklahoma. In God's country. Extra intel today, because it's Friday. Bonus intel from the Bear Nation. Medical, quote, I work for Kaiser Permanente, which, by the way, is a ridiculous name. You think at this point, it's 2022, nobody has massaged the branding on Kaiser Permanente at this point? You sound like a casualty of World War I. I work for Kaiser Permanente, a nationwide HMO. It was mentioned in an HR meeting that a majority of nursing staff at the moment are traveling in temp nurses. This implies that medical staffing levels are fluid and can change at the drop of a hat. True. By the way, if you'd like your reporting, your intelligence, your boots on the ground information read on the brief, please email intel@bearindependent.com. Intel@bearindependent.com. What's the email address, Bear? Intel, I-N-T-E-L, intel@bearindependent.com. Or you can go to bearindependent.com, hit the contact us button, submit away. Okay, because you guys don't send anything in, I got nothing to read. It's a symbiotic relationship here. I'm the shark, you're the remora eel. Or vice versa, whatever. Food and agriculture, quote, I work selling tractor parts and interact with farmers of all types daily. Cattle farmers are saying that many cows, especially heiferettes, which is the second calf for the cow, are losing their calves due to the heat and dry conditions. A defense mechanism installed by the Creator to help keep the herd alive during poor weather conditions, I suppose. This is obviously resulting in a smaller potential future cattle herd, which will limit the future beef supply, driving up food costs. There has also been talk of farmers selling off cattle as feed is getting more scarce and more expensive. Next, maybe a small thing, but I was working on a property survey today in West Arkansas, had a landowner with 2 brand new chicken houses inform me that he couldn't receive birds because there were 2 fittings for his water line that could not be procured. Therefore, he has 2 houses that can't go operational because of 2 parts to finish the entire 2 chicken houses. He's dead in the water, just waiting. Plandemic supply chain trickle effect. Next, spoke with an official at the local food bank that expressed concern over declining donations and supply chain issues. They are attempting to work with local farmers that will appropriate and dedicate acreage to grow crops specifically for the food bank. That's a good way to solve that problem as long as the farmers aren't experiencing drought and shortages as well. But I like the ingenuity there. They are having issues with participation because farmers have to be concerned with making their farms profitable, which is becoming more difficult. The ones who are willing to participate are only willing to provide what is left over after satisfying market obligations. Some of y'all here in the Bear Nation are part of a ministry called the Gleaners. This is biblical. Glean not the corners of your field, right? You leave that for the widow and the orphan. And so what the gleaners do is they'll go through in these fields and literally and figuratively, the corners of the fields, the excess, the leftover, they will go and take that and distribute that to people in need. They also do that with firewood, which I think is awesome. I think y'all are based out of Ohio, the gleaners. And I think that's a really good idea. It's the kind of thing that anybody within the sound of my voice could easily put into action with a half a day's planning and a day a week, a day a month's worth of effort with a group of people. Just go out there, network, find what resources, where the slack in the system is, gather up those resources, and then pass them on to people who are in need. I think that's a great ministry. I think it's biblical. You're supposed to do that. Next, I'm a supply chain manager for a large block cheese manufacturer in southwest Wisconsin with over 200 employees. I came into work today and was told we are out of milk. How do you make cheese without milk?
I don't think you can.
Out of crickets? Is it like, are they doing that now? We are out of milk. We won't have any milk, at least until tomorrow, so production is halted. I've been here for 2 years and I've never seen this. There's usually 50 semis or more here a day with milk. I know schools are back in session, but I'm not sure where all the milk is. I mean, this is Wisconsin. Security. There have been several people in my sphere of influence who have gotten out of different branches of the military in the past 3 years that got out bad. Not a dishonorable discharge, but not an honorable discharge either. That have reached out to me to let me know that their respective former service is trying to bring them back in after having been out for 2+ years. For those not in the know, when one enlists in the military, the initial enlistment is for 8 years, not 4. The first 4 years are to be served as active duty, the next 4 are deemed inactive ready reserve time. The IRR, inactive ready reserve recruiters, are using high-pressure tactics to simply have them show up at X base at Y time or else face consequences for failing to show up. Recruitment into the U.S. military is at such a dismal rate that up to $75,000 bonuses are being offered to literally any warm body that walks in the door. Our military is bleeding talent and has no understanding as to why patriotic Americans don't want to join anymore. Bad leadership. A 80-year-old senile man as commander-in-chief. The Afghanistan drawdown. The tolerance of these ridiculous social change narratives. 87 genders, paying for people's transgender surgeries, all that. The military is not what it was. People don't want to participate in those shenanigans. And then when you look at what you're being forced to shed your blood in defense of, a large portion of what we consider the American experience these days is completely unrighteous. It's completely unrighteous. The morale in the military, and I know this, I have a lot of friends, a lot of contacts who are still in. The morale is incredibly low. They don't consider the work that they're doing to be good work. They don't want to do it. I have soft guys who have called me up who are being redeployed. I mean, I'm talking big, tough, strong men who do stuff that they can never talk about, that the world will never know about, who call me up with tears in their eyes saying, Bear, I don't want to go back. I can't go back. If I go back, I guarantee I will not have a wife when I return. I won't be able to see my kids again. I've done too many tours. I've done too much. It's not worth it. I don't want to go. I also have been ordered to go. I have to go, but I don't want to go. What do I do? I'm talking the best of the best of the best. The 1% of the 1% of the 1%. With tears in their eyes. Saying, I gave my word that I would do this. I took an oath that I would do this, but I can't spill blood for this anymore. This is not worth my wife and my children. This is not worth my life anymore. And if it's that way in special operations, it's systemic. It's a damn shame. that we've gotten to this point. And yes, the military is a test bed for social change. How have we allowed our society, as Americans, us, didn't exercise our no muscles? We've allowed our society to get to the point where we can't even recruit fighting age males anymore. Are there any fighting age males anymore? Or are they, which of the 87 genders are they now? Do they need, special consideration because they shit in a litter box because that's their gender? I'm a furry. No, you have a mental disorder. You need actual legitimate medical help. You do not need to be encouraged in your delusions. It's sad, but it's another unfortunate systemic indicator of the decline of the American empire. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. The age of an empire is 250 years on average. Sir John Glubb, The Fate of Empires, read it. It's 17 pages long. It'll open your eyes. The Fate of Empires, Sir John Glubb. The average lifespan of an empire is 250 years. We're 246 years into this American experiment. I don't love the fact that we are in the final phase, the decline phase. All empires have 7 phases they go through. We are squarely in the decline phase of our American empire. I don't love that. I'm not a fan of that. I love this country. I love what it's all about. I love the fact that we still have some modicum of American exceptionalism. We've raised more people out of poverty, even amidst the bad politicians, the systemic crime, the corporate capitalism. More people have had their lives made great in this country than anywhere on the face of the earth at any time in human history. I can firmly believe that on one hand, and also firmly accept the indicators that all that is going away on the other hand. And it's sad as hell. I don't like it. You're not going to turn it around. See, you hear these people talking about, well, we got to fix the country. We got to make the country great again. Well, that begins with you. Make you great again. Because if you don't have the discipline to get out of bed in the morning in PT, don't talk about fixing the country. If you don't have the discipline to be conscious of what you stuff in your face every day, don't talk about fixing the country. If you don't know what effing gender you are, male and female, he created them, don't talk to me about how we're going to fix the country. You're not. We're not. What we might do, if we apply enough forethought now, if we're diligent now, if we're obedient and therefore receive blessings now, is weather the storm, which is the collapse of this empire, so that we have some say as to what America 2.0 looks like. See, systems fail, but people exist in perpetuity. The Roman Empire is gone. They're still Romans. They're still over there. We call them Italians now. Systems fail. You don't want to be married to the system, or when it fails, you will fail. That's the whole point of this channel. Bear independent. Be independent of the broken, fragile system. And it doesn't mean I like the fact that the system's failing. I don't. I have kids. I want to have grandkids. I'd like to have great grandkids. I'd like to run my businesses, run our ministries, continue to do meaningful things that save people's lives, literally and figuratively. Hang out with my sheep, hang out with my cows, live my life. I don't enjoy the fact that all indicators are this place is going to hell in a handbasket about that quick. But it's not up to me whether or not it is. I don't have to like it. It just is. What's that thing that everybody was saying there for a while during the Trump administration? Facts, not feelings. Where did that go? Because the facts are, by all indicators, this is an empire in decline. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. It just is. Back to the military. Our military is bleeding talent and has no understanding as to why patriotic Americans don't want to join anymore. While facing pressure in the theaters of the great power struggle, our military is being stripped of personnel and materiel. I've heard speculation amongst military officers that the draft may have to be brought online to fill mission requirements in the future. This is not to say that there are plans being put in place to make that happen, but the general sentiment in certain circles is that it may have to be a thing if the numbers don't pick up. In Metro Detroit, over a 24-hour period, more than 100 firearms were stolen from 2 shops by smashing through the walls with a stolen vehicle. Then one of the shops was hit for a second time less than 24 hours later. It's quite unnerving knowing how easily these thugs are stocking up on firearms. Don't live in Metro Detroit, homie. Let the thugs deal with one another. What are you going to do when there's martial law, Bear? Don't be there. What about food rationing? Don't be there either. What about if, Dallas gets nuked? I'm going to not be in Dallas. Well, have you seen the crime rate in Detroit? You can't pay me to go to Detroit, homie. I'm not going. I'm not going to Detroit. I don't care what's in Detroit. I'm not going. Is it an indicator? Yes. How much does that affect you? Well, its effect on you is in direct correlation with your geographic location. The closer you are to Detroit, the more it matters. Praise the Most High, I'm nowhere near Detroit. Well, what happens when those thugs from Detroit make it into eastern Oklahoma? That's a hell of a logistics train for them to get from Detroit to eastern Oklahoma. And then if they do, see my previous comment about letting all the bad guys out of the prisons. Skid steers, hollow points. Rome burning and supply chain issues. I work for a forging company in western Pennsylvania. I'm a maintenance mechanic. We make parts for vehicles Ford, GM, Chevy, Chrysler, and Ram. We also forge parts for Timken Gears, the oil and gas industry, and the mining industry. Things have definitely gotten worse here. Not only are we out of basic parts like grease fittings and 5/8 washers, bolts, oil pumps, and pump rebuild kits, we're now out of critical replacement parts like clutch hubs and plates, crankshafts, counterbalances, and replacement rams. Every one of our presses has a major part going bad, cracked rams, dangerously worn hub teeth, and cracked counterbalance rods, just to name a few. We are now also out of presses to steal parts from, as we've gotten everything we can scavenge. It's only a matter of time before these chickens come home to roost. It's optimistically estimated we can get new parts in 8 to 9 months, but it can be longer. Most of these presses won't make it 3 months. On top of all of this, we still have a labor shortage with more and more people leaving every week. Recently, the company has started filling warehouses with our parts as the companies mentioned above have not been able to receive them for weeks. I feel like they're just trying to keep everyone working as long as possible. I hope things improve here, but it doesn't look like it will for quite some time. And lastly, in St. Louis, box trucks are the backbone of small businesses in the local economy. Our box truck needs brakes, and we are being required to pull the truck out of service and put it into a 3-week queue with a local under-resourced mechanic. Not enough quality people or supplies is the reason. I called 3 more shops, and 3 weeks is the norm. If I take a truck out of service for 3 weeks and shift logistics around, this is still a $300 per day cost, which hurts my bottom line and my customers. This is bad and making the recession worse for other businesses in the same spot. All these things are indicators. Now, I'll tell you this, from a business standpoint, I'm an entrepreneur, have been since I was 17 years old, built multiple businesses for myself and other people. I totally understand the concerns of the business. A lot of people talk about like workers' rights and employee considerations and all of that, and I have employees. We call them teammates. They're badass. I got one sitting right here, right? These people mean a lot to me. But I also understand that you can't have employees if you don't have the business. And so the health of the business has to be balanced against the considerations of the employees. But I feel you, the strain, and this is something that I don't think is talked about often enough for those that are small business owners, medium-sized business owners, and entrepreneurs out there. The strain of the last 3 years, people don't get it. It's hard enough. It's stressful enough operating a business. There's enough factors just in a normal day operating a business. This These crimes against humanity that have been committed, called the global pandemic, has taken a huge toll on business owners, top level senior management, and entrepreneurs. Because at the end of the day, the well-being of every single person that works with me is on my shoulders. It's my responsibility. I have to do everything I can to make sure that they get paid, to make sure that we have product in stock, to make sure that we have an adequate marketing campaign, that our branding is good, that that we're getting noticed in the market space. I have to be able to pay my bills, keep the lights on, even as the cost of operating continues to increase exponentially, that the product cost, our inputs into the business increase exponentially. I wear that on my shoulders. I feel the weight of it every day, as does every other business owner out there right now. And not enough credit is given to those people. I feel you, and I want to tell you, good job. Keep going. Even if it's bullshit, because it is. It's bullshit. I see some of our numbers. I see some of the stuff that our suppliers, our vendors that are doing everything they can to keep us fed. I see some of the stuff we have to deal with from them. I'm like, man, that is some bullshit. Yeah. But do you want bullshit or nothing? Keep going. This too shall pass. For everything there is a season. And in the entrepreneurship space, they talk a lot about mental health, right? Self-care. Be careful with that. Be careful with that. I told my 15-year-old daughter the other day, she was having kind of a rough day. I said, honey, you have 15 minutes to be upset. You get 15 minutes to bitch and moan, to be depressed, to be sad, to be mad, whatever it is. That's it. You have 15 minutes. After that, you're burning daylight. Now we need to problem solve. Why are you sad? Why are you mad? Why are you depressed? What's going on here? We're going to treat the disease, not the symptoms. What's our plan of attack? What's our course of action so that we don't get sad, upset, pissed off, depressed again next time? See, it's impossible for your brain to be logical and emotional at the same time. Emotional decision-making is bad decision-making. It's not physically possible in different hemispheres of your brain. You can't do both at the same time. So all that stress, all my business owners out there, all my entrepreneurs, all that stress is an indicator that something is important to you. You don't stress about stuff that's not important to you, right? You only stress about things that are important to you. So stress is a biomechanical feedback mechanism. It's telling you biomechanically in your body that this thing is important to me. Okay, cool. Get outside of the stress. Get outside of the bullshit. Change your perspective. Step back, breathe, look around, and figure out, what am I gonna do about this thing? Then do it. A good plan, violently executed today, is better than a perfect plan executed tomorrow. That's the brief for today. If you're one of those people that jumps off when it's time to talk about how to support the show, this is your cue. Beat feet, skedaddle, get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. If you're not, YouTube's, TikToks, how many people we got?
Just over 2,300 on YouTube and
Dang.
just over 400 on TikTok.
Dang. Wow. Friday. Listen, if you're new here, don't be a schlub. Subscribe, ring the little bell icon. If you're on TikTok, most of our content's on YouTube. I know YouTube's for old people, but I have gray in my beard. So come on over here to YouTube. You'll find most, well, I say most. That's the beginning of the funnel. The vast majority of our content's on Patreon. So if you're new here, subscribe, ring the little bell icon. And if you're not new here, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love, okay? Just one person. You know how exponentially we could grow the Bear Nation if you just sent the link to this video to one person today? Hey Ma, I know you're interested about current events and preparedness. Check this video out. Cool, thanks, I appreciate that, right? Like that's how we grow, 100% organic. We have the best audience. I was just talking about yesterday in the network video. We have the best audience. The amount of stuff, the amount of blessings that we have been able to be involved in because of the Bear Nation is huge, right? Like 34 disaster deployments, couple dozen human trafficking survivors and victims of sex crimes rescued, 5,000 copies of the scriptures given away, hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for charity, missionaries sent to Southeast Asia to combat human trafficking, 51 lives saved at Refuge Medical, more than 2,000 people trained with Refuge training. Like, we have the best audience. And so, yeah, if you want to hop on board the bear train, yeah, you know what to do. Patreon. Patreon is $5 a month. It's the best $5 you can spend on the internet. It is not an I love me, you should love me too page. There's a massive amount of value on Patreon. There's exclusive content posted at Patreon practically every day of the week that never sees the light of day on YouTube. Certainly not on TikTok. So there's a link in the description of every video and live stream. If you'd like to join the Patreon family, it's $5 a month. You can do that. And also, we are doing a huge loot box giveaway this month on Patreon. It's like an $1,100 retail value for a Velocity Systems Mayflower chest rig and mags and ammo and a blowout kit and a radio and a knife and a multi-tool and a flashlight and I don't remember what else. Some boo-boo stuff, some paracord, all the accoutrement, and it's like all top-notch, high-quality gear, $1,100 value. There's a video that posted Monday morning on Patreon that is how to sign up. It's the September 22 loot box entry post. Go there and follow the directions in the post, and you'll be entered to win. We'll be drawing the winner for that on the 30th of this month. So that's what's going on Patreon. RefugeMedical.com. Okay, it's my cat in a tree. I was like, looks a little big to be my cat, but it's my cat. All right.
Your cat likes to eat all the mice.
It does, but I mean, there's a kid not too far from here attacked by a mountain lion. So, yeah, it's real. You know, that's what we're worried about in the country. I'm not worried about the dope fiends stalking me in Portland. I'm worried about mountain lions, right? And what they do, for those that don't know, they get up in the trees and they hang on the limbs, and then they attack where they drop down out of the tree on top of you. I know, scary, right? We also have Sasquatches, but that's a whole nother story. Refuge Medical, it is National Preparedness Month. We are doing a really awesome giveaway for National Preparedness Month. If you spend $150 hairs or more.
Nope, 200.
$200 hairs or more. Thank you. Oh, that's right. The promo just changed. You spend $200 or more, you get a soft tee tourniquet. This right here, okay? The soft tee is a Committee on TCCC recommended windlass tourniquet. So you get one of those for free, spend $200 or more. Spend $400 or more, you get a Boo Boo 2.0. It's an awesome kit. It's, you know, Band-Aids and gauze and disinfectant and gloves and a compression bandage and all the boo-boo stuff. Are there steri strips in that sucker?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even steri strips in there for wound closure. Like, it's not your grandpa's boo-boo kit, okay? But it's phenomenal. It'll fit in the glove box of the minivan. It'll fit in your purse. It'll fit in your backpack, your day pack, you know, going to the soccer game. It's awesome. Spend $500 or more, you get a pocket. And the pocket, conveniently, this is an SOB. The pocket, small of the back kit, the pocket is what's inside the SOB. And it's the perfect size. See that right there? Made in the USA. Not kidding. We actually make these damn things. They don't come from China. This is that big. It'll fit in the cargo pocket of your khaki, you know, work pants. It'll fit in the cargo pocket of your cami pants. It'll fit in your shorts cargo pocket. It'll fit in a backpack, a glove box, or whatever. And this does not have boo-boo stuff in it. This has a Sharpie, BZK wipes, chest seals, gloves, nasal pharyngeal airway, compression bandage, wound packing gauze, and quick clot combat gauze for life-threatening, serious, penetrating traumas and arterial bleeds. So that's the pocket. You spend $500 or more. Now, the other cool thing going on at Refuge right now is that damn near everything is in stock. If you've been like, I've really been waiting for a Bearfac in Ranger Green, in stock. Man, I really need a stomp bag, SEAL Team Operational Medical Pack, a hospital on your back, in stock. Oh, I want a red with reflective adventure kit, in stock. Yeah, okay, but what about a multicam ARC advanced ripaway kit? One of these. Guess what? In stock. Ta-da, boom. And the cool thing about the ARC, boom, and one more time, boom, is that it's an advanced ripaway kit. So not only does it have all the badass stuff inside of it, right? You got chest seals, quick clot, compression bandages, wound packing gauze, fold flat emergency trauma dressing, shears, more chest seals, more wound packing gauze, compression bandage, tourniquet, soft T tourniquet on the outside. Not only can you wear this on your plate carrier, your chest rig, and if you need to dive into it, if you're the medic, pop this open and it'll hang in your workspace. You can also rip it off, throw it on the ground next to the casualty and go to work. Or it has these extra straps on the back, as you can see. PALS webbing, Molly compatible, has these extra straps on the back. You can mount it on the dang headrest in your minivan or your pickup truck or your off-road badass Jeep or your Ford Bronco or your freaking Lexus, whatever. It'll hang on the headrest in your car. I have one of these in my daughter's car. That's how much I believe in this kit. And it's important to point out as well, like, are these kits badass? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Made in America, guaranteed forever, greatly exceeds military specification. Every time we send one of these kits to somebody who's in the service, we get something back that's like, dude, this thing is so much better than what I was issued. Yeah, that's why I made them. That's why I started this company, because it's so much better than what you're issued. But the point here is, like, they might be cool kits. They are. That might be an incredible value. They are. They might be made in America and guaranteed forever. They are. Why do you need one? I'll break it down Barney style for you. 9 out of 10 preventable deaths in the United States of America. It's not heart attack. It's not, diabetes. 9 out of 10 preventable deaths in the United States of America are from uncontrolled bleeding. And that's what trauma medicine is. A critical bleed is an oh shit bleed. When you see so much blood that your first thought is oh shit, you have about 90 seconds to fix that problem. And if you don't fix that problem, that person dies. Whether that person is you, your mom, your kid, your husband, your pastor, your boss, your buddies from work, you have 90 seconds to fix that problem. And if you don't, that person will die. The end. Yeah, 9 out of 10 preventable deaths in the United States of America. Uncontrolled bleeding. Let's make it even more relevant. Statistically, the most dangerous thing you will do as an American in your life is drive. Of all the lives, of all the 51 lives that have been saved with Refuge medical kits, the vast majority of them are from automobile accidents. Life 1, David Campbell. Motor vehicle accident, compound femur. Life 7, compound femur. Compound break of the femur. What happens is the femur is the big bone inside your leg. It breaks. The bone squirts out the inside of your thigh and it severs partially or completely your femoral artery, which is the diameter of your thumb. It's a garden hose that pumps blood. And if you don't shut that garden hose off about that fast, it'll pump enough blood out that you pass out. And once you pass out, you're statistically dead. Half your volume of blood. Number 16, motor vehicle accident. Tread on this, car in a ditch. Number 17, motor vehicle accident with a compound femur. Number 19, motor vehicle accident, compound femur. Number 21, motor vehicle accident, compound tibia, Dangerfield, Texas. Number 27, motor vehicle accident, rollover. Took 1 hour for EMS to arrive. 1 hour. You got 90 seconds, and it took an hour for the ambulance to get there. Number 28 was the passenger of the above accident. Number 30, motor vehicle accident, femoral bleed, tourniquet applied. Number 31, head injuries from the above accident. And number 36, 3-car pileup, motor vehicle accident. Bare minimum used with the tourniquet from that. Do you seeing the point here? Number 38, motorcycle. Right? And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Number 42, biker chick with a broken spine, crash kit. Right? Number 43, 6-car pileup, femoral fractures. Right? Number 45, car hit by train. Yeah. Number 49, motor vehicle accident with a training tourniquet. They came to refuge training. Severed artery in the arm. You see the point here? Motor vehicle accidents will get you. And so, not only do you need one of these, it's a damn good time of year to buy one. We got a really good promo running right now because it's National Preparedness Month. Everything in the store is HSA and FSA eligible. So if you have a health savings account or flexible spending account, you can use that at refugemedical.com. And now, if you don't want the promo, you can use promo code BEARNATION instead for free shipping on something else, right? So, and if you're on Patreon, look in the description of the brief. You have your own promo code for additional percentage savings, money off. So there's a lot going on at Refuge Medical right now. Our current fulfillment time from the time your order comes in to the time it ships is 14 hours and 28 minutes. So when we say it's in stock, it means it's under our roof. We got it, okay? So I'll shut up about Refuge. Love this company. Had an awesome call with a huge company yesterday that's really, really enthusiastic about partnering with us to do some custom kits. Really looking forward to that. I can't wait to tell you guys about that when that comes through. It's going to be awesome. It's a name every one of y'all know. I'm like, man, the father's badass. Refuge training. Our guys are on the road right now. And coming back from Carywood, Indiana, or Idaho right now. I just got done in Idaho, Boise, Carywood, also Heppner, Oregon. They're on their way home right now. We've got a few more dates in Dallas and in Waco coming up. So if you'd like to learn the fine art of how to not die, how to use your first aid kit so that you are not the casualty, so that you can be the superhero and save somebody else's life, refugetraining.com. Highly recommend you come to class and learn how to use this stuff. And Grindstone Ministries. Bless y'all. Thank you for supporting GSM, for Grindstone Ministries and Caleb House, which is our rehabilitation facility, restoration facility for juvenile human trafficking survivors, aka kids who have been raped. That's what we do. Like, we save people, and it's a lot, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for partnering with us at grindstoneministries.com. Man, it is overwhelming to me just how badass the Bear Nation is. Like, and and I had a call yesterday with a guy in Ohio who wants to do the same thing there. And I told him, like, dude has my cell phone number now. I don't just do that, right? But I told him yesterday, and I meant it, because I don't say shit I don't mean. Hey, man, if you need me, text me, and we'll set up a time to talk about anything related to how you can help rescue kids, how you can help rehabilitate kids. And so, like, it's important to point out, the Father has blessed us through the efforts of y'all to be able to rescue and rehabilitate these kiddos. But there's no reason why I got to be the only one doing it. So, like, if he's put that calling on your heart, if you want to partner with us, if you want to volunteer with us, if you want to join Grindstone, if you want to be part of the mission, you can email us. You'll find all that information at grindstoneministries.com. If you want to start your own thing to be the hands and feet of the Father, do it. Go for it. Like, kick ass and take names, man. Like, get to work. That's incredible. And if I can help you do that, I will. I don't know everything, but I do know a thing or two that we've learned from doing this stuff. And it's just encouraging to me to see other people, again, in the Bear Nation, the most badass audience on the face of the planet. We don't have 163,000 followers. We have 163,000 leaders. I don't want followers. Like, I don't want to be a cult of personality. That's horse shit. Don't follow me. I'm just a man. Lead. Like, be the light. Be the leader of your home. Be that one person in your community that refuses to acquiesce to the bullshit. And so if you can be that person where you are, do it. And if I can help you where you are, I will. That's so encouraging to me. I don't know if you just heard the kid yell mom 12 times in a row. But it's just super encouraging to me to see people stepping up, stepping out in faith to go do good works, man. It's awesome. So, thank you for supporting Caleb House and Grindstone Ministries. Y'all have a blessed Shabbat, day of rest. Today is the last day of 75 hard for me.
Woohoo!
So, cycle 3. This is the 3rd time I've done it. So, at sundown tonight, there is a maker's mark with my name on it. And with that, y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.